Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Fantasy Football Formula. We are into week 6 of the NFL season. Can't believe I'm already saying that. It is halfway through October. Last week we got crushed. It's no other way around it. We got slaughtered. You know what? That's what happens when you have a gambling show. Some weeks you're hot. Some weeks you are not. And last week we were on the losing side of a lot of things. So we
Here's
do
the good thing.
apologize.
Here's the good
I
thing,
even
though.
told Alex right before we recorded last week. I was like, I hate every single pick.
You did.
I was like,
Yep.
I don't like anything on the board this week.
It was tough. It was tough. The week four, the public took money from the books for the first time of the whole year. So I had a feeling going into week 5 that the books were going to get their share back. And they did. Good thing though is that all of us, including PB, who's not with us today on a flight, but we're still all positive on the year, right? So still got positive records. So that's good, and we're bouncing back this week. I can feel it.
Just got to stay away from the deposits. That's all you got to do.
Yes, very true.
That is the key to gambling, is to not put more money into your account. So so this week we will try to boost that account up a little bit with our picks and our locks. So we are actually starting off with a Dust Bowl of the week, and Thursday night we got the Washington Commanders going against the Chicago Bears. The spread is -1, favoring the Bears because they are at home. Alex, it looks like you have a pick on this one.
Yeah. So last Thursday we had Colts Broncos, and this Thursday we get another Dust Bowl, Commanders Bears. Thank you, Papa Bezos, for those back-to-back thrillers on Thursday night. Hey, but we're all still gonna watch, so I think they're still winning that one. Yeah, I'm gonna take the under on this. Right now it's at 38 on DraftKings. And it's probably, if it closes under the 37 and a half, it'll be one of the lowest, if not the lowest totals on the entire year. The one thing the Bears can do is run the ball. And the one thing that the Washington defense can do is stop the run. And on the flip side, the one thing that the Commanders offense can do is pass the ball. And the one thing that the Bears defense can do is stop the pass. So got a good feeling that this is going to be another Dust Bowl, another poop bowl on Amazon, and gonna take the under.
Yeah, I think I would lean that way as well. The Washington Commanders have one of the worst offensive lines. Carson Wentz, I think he's the most pressured, sacked quarterback in the league right now. So
you also got the head coach like just openly shitting on him. Like,
yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen that happen before.
Ever.
He was like, "What's the problem, quarterback?"
He wouldn't even say his name. He's like
Jesus Christ.
so bad.
I mean, that's what happens when you trade for Carson Wentz. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
knew what you were
he probably
getting.
had something to do with that too. Like, that's kind of on him,
right? Though that's literally what like Twitter was responding, and I think even the reporter may have responded, have been like, you had a role in picking him though, right? Like it's and also like Ron Rivera, you're a defensive guy. Where's the defense been all year?
True. I mean, they are without Chase Young.
True.
So that does play a huge part. But even last year, they got torched in the secondary. I mean, that was what teams did all year last year, was just throw against them. So but yeah, hopefully they one of these teams at least scores a touchdown. But hey, you know what? A win's a win. It's coming from Colts fans. So, but moving on from this Dust Bowl, we are moving on to the Bengals and Saints. The Bengals are on the road, 1.5 point favorites against PB Saints. PB is not here to defend his Saints.
Thank God.
Thank God. We don't have to
trash
hear
him.
it. So, Nick, it looks like you have a pick. I almost took a side on this one just because I wanted just to poke at the bear, but I didn't. So, Nick, let's hear it from you.
Yeah, I mean, on one side, I think you got a Bengals team who's starting to put it together more than they were the first few games of the year. So they're starting to click again. I think, they should have both of T. Higgins and Jamar Chase pretty healthy. So, I mean, I think Lattimore could maybe take one of them out of the game, limit them a little bit. But otherwise, I think that, they're in a spot with they're just going to be in a playoff hunt with the Ravens all year, so they're not going to sleep on any game. And then on the other side, like the Saints, I think Taysom Hill had like 3 touchdowns last week. So like if that's 4, okay, even worse. If that's what you're banking on, like this Bengals defense is gonna just shut that down. Like they're really good against the run. So it's not a good matchup, and I think this line really didn't make any sense to me. It's like almost near pick 'em. So for that reason, this is my lock of the week. Uday Nation is gonna get the dub. So
Yeah, I like that. I was texting PB saying like, I just wish both teams could find a way to lose just because he's also a Bengals bandwagon fan and we have to hear that too. But yeah, I agree with you, Nick. -1.5. That's a good, yeah, that line just doesn't really make sense. So especially with the Saints, we don't know who's playing quarterback this week.
Pretty sure it's still Dalton.
I don't think it really matters to me, honestly. Like,
yeah,
Dalton's probably the same level as Winston. So
yeah, but
probably takes care of the ball a little better, actually.
yeah,
honestly,
like, less interceptions for sure.
Yeah. But all right, let's move it on. We have the sneaky New York Jets traveling to the frozen tundra of Lambeau. The Packers are -7. Over under is 46.5. I am the only one with a pick here, so I'll go right into it. Packers -7. I am taking that. The Jets are not. They're the Jets still, and like I just do not think they have the offensive firepower to keep up with a good team like the Packers. Yes, the Packers look again lackluster last week against the Giants. Giants definitely have a better defense than the Jets do. The Giants have a sneaky good defense, which I really didn't see this year. I don't think a lot of people did either. But the Jets, I mean, okay, they have a decent defense, but their offense is the thing I worry about in keeping up with the Packers. Yes, they have Breece Hall, who had a good week last week. That was against the Dolphins, who were banged up, who brought in a third string quarterback halfway through. Wait, not even halfway, like the first or second quarter, who like he probably
second drive,
yeah, he probably knew some of the playbook, but like they didn't game plan for him. They game plan for Teddy. So yes, the Jets ended up winning by like 18, 20 points, but I don't buy it. I don't buy the Jets. Aaron Rodgers coming off a loss is 144, 77 or 71 and 1.
Is that good?
That's pretty good. And he's at home. So
yeah.
And he's gonna be pissed. People are gonna put the loss on him. The offense didn't score in the second half last week. I don't see that happening again. See the Packers routing the Jets. I think the Jets maybe get to 10 points. So I like the Packers there -7.
Yeah, the Jets had back-to-back rookie quarterbacks who came into the game, did not start the game in their last 2 games that they won. And this line, I think if you didn't see that happen, if they're playing against the starters in each of these games, this line's probably closer to 9 or 10.
I really don't quite understand this one. But hey, that's why the books made money last week. Maybe they know something we don't, but still with this line, I like the Packers here -7. All right, moving on to the next game here. We have the Baltimore Ravens traveling to the G-Men. Ravens are -5 point favorites on the road. Alex, what do you got from this one?
Yeah, I don't think anyone in the world, literally in the entire world, predicted the Giants starting off the season 4-1. If you have the receipts, please send them to me because you're on another planet.
Yeah.
So obviously we just talked about it. Giants coming off of a big win in London town against the Packers. That defensive line really showed up that game and gave Rodgers and that offense problems. And I think that's largely in part to the fact of Wink Martindale's defensive coordination. Just obviously a fun name to say too. But so Wink was the defensive coordinator of the Ravens, Lamar's first couple of years in the league. So he's had a couple of years worth of practice against this defense and these unique looks that he brings. The Ravens defense also stepped up big last week. They got Ronnie Staley back in the lineup for most of the game. He started for them, which is huge for that O-line and that run game, which they rely heavily on. And the Ravens have still only trailed for a couple of minutes the entire season. I do think that they cover the spread, but I'm going to go a little bit different route here. I'm going to take the Ravens team total over 25.5. I think Lamar is going to give the Giants defensive line some problems. I think he's going to be able to roll out on them, pick up some big chunk plays, and we get Rashad Bateman back, I'm pretty sure. So I think we're going to get a couple of deep balls to him as well.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Also, the Giants are pretty young, so and they haven't faced a mobile quarterback like this before. I definitely see Lamar getting loose and causing issues for that Giants defense. But alrighty, moving on, we have the Patriots versus the Browns. The Browns are minus 2.5 point favorites. Over under is 42.5. Nick, the reverse curse didn't work. You actually middled that.
That was unbelievable.
Both sides. So
I can't believe that actually
2 weeks
happened.
in a row I've lost on these bets by like under a point. It's crushing, honestly. Like I've been so close to at least pushing, but it's like, oh, maybe I should have bought the extra point.
Maybe pay the couple cents more and get that, so that doesn't happen to you. I mean, not only did
Browns
you lost the bet, but your Brownies lost as well. But hey, I think the Browns, they show signs of a good team. They have a good team around them. Jacoby Brissett is obviously the issue right now. You can't throw a pick.
That defense too, though. The defense, man. What's going on there?
Well, I think they recognize that it's a problem, and we actually just traded for Levante David, mid-season move, which I like to see. I know he's a veteran guy that's sitting on the IR right now, but he's going to come back and hopefully kind of bring that veteran presence and some experience to, some of the woes that they're having will hopefully be solved just with a little bit of experience. We got a lot of young linebackers out there, Owusu Koromora and Jacob Phillips, both 2 or 3 years in. So I think that's really the pain point. Our cornerbacks are great, but center of the defense is quite bad.
Yeah. So, but again, I still like the Browns here at minus 2.5. Patriots might be rolling out Zappy again, which, hey, kudos to him. They've won their last two games with him. But I think that this could come to an end. So I'm taking the Browns minus 2.5. The Browns stat lines and trends are not good. They're like 2-7 last 9, covering the spread. The Patriots have owned them for like the last 12 games. But that's also, barring the fact that Brady was there. Brady's not there anymore. I mean, still Bill Belichick.
He likes to beat up on his old team.
He does, but I still like the Browns here minus 2.5. I just overall I think that they are the better team and they will cover this. So Browns minus 2.5, lock it in. All right. Moving on. We have the Vikings. Again, this line doesn't really make sense to me. Traveling to the Miami Dolphins. Vikings are minus 3.5 point road favorites. Looks like Nick, you have a pick on this one?
Yeah, I think the Dolphins are just pretty beat up right now. I think they have their third string quarterback that's going to start. So I got to think Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson have enough ammo and firepower to cover the spread on this one. I think that's really all it boils down to. I don't think they'll be able to keep up, honestly. The Dolphins just pretty lackluster offense without a good quarterback back there. So, yeah, I think they had a good start to the season, but they're going to even out here.
Yeah, I mean, it just sucks because they were rolling there early, and then that injury, and then
Tyreek and Waddle are both banged up right now too. Tyreek left that game in a walking boot. I think they both play, but Waddle's also had like a groin going on. So yeah, and then Justin Jefferson is just Randy Moss reincarnated. I mean, seeing what he did to the Bears and obviously the rest of the season, like, he's a fun player to watch. That dude is special.
Yeah, he is. The Vikings maybe had figured out their offensive side of the ball. That's always kind of been their issues throughout the years.
They're finally giving it to Dalvin again too.
I was going to say Dalvin Cook's finally waking up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it blows my mind when you have someone in the backfield like that and the coach just decides, we're not going to use them. We're not going to help out the rest of the team. Yeah, we're just going to throw the
50
ball. It's
times a game.
Yeah, I mean, that's why Kirk Cousins looks like he does sometimes, because he's throwing the ball and people are he's an easy reading quarterback, I guess.
Yeah.
But all right, moving on, we have the 49ers traveling to Atlanta. 49ers are 5.5 point road favorites. So a lot of road favorites this week. Over under is 44.5. I am the only one with a pick for this game. Yes, the Falcons are undefeated against the spread. They are the only team left who have covered each and every game. They are America's team, according to sports bettors, because they have covered every spread. But that ends this week. The 49ers are probably going to be the best defense they face all year. This offensive line is insane. It's hard to block Bosa off the edge. Their linebacker core, they have players everywhere on the field. Their depth is amazing. And the Falcons again, their weapons are just, yes, you have Drake London. Kyle Pitts is a little bit still banged up. He didn't play last week. I would assume he plays this week, but the 49ers are really good against tight ends. And I think the 49ers are just going to control the ball and run and run and run, and just not allow the Falcons to get in any type of groove. So I like the 49ers here minus 5.5.
I almost took the other side of this game. I love the 49ers. They're one of my favorite teams to watch. But they got banged up that last game. They lost Bosa, Mosley, Jimmy Ward, and then they're missing a couple other guys on the line and another linebacker. 6 total defensive starters. I don't know. The Falcons have been close in every game that they've played, obviously covering all 5, but I don't know. I stayed away from it purely because I obviously think the 49ers are a much better team, but they're so banged up. And I think the public perception, I think when Sunday comes around and we see the percentage of tickets versus percentage of money, I think it's going to be a large amount of tickets and a low amount of money on the 49ers. I think obviously they come off killing the Panthers, sending Matt Rule to the gallows. And the Falcons lose to the Bucs in a game that they should have had a chance to come back and win if it wasn't for that pass interference call, which
it was pretty egregious.
I guess you just can't abuse the elderly in the NFL anymore. But yeah, I stayed away from this, but just solely because of the 49ers defensive injuries kind of scare me on that side.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. There are a lot of question marks on a lot of their players, which it does worry me a little bit, but 8-2 against the spread last 10 games. I'll ride with that.
Yeah.
You flip it on the other side, and Atlanta's 5-0 in the last 5 against the spread, but so something we'll have to give. But I think the 49ers are just a little bit better coach team, and I think they'll be able to pull it out. So
yeah.
All right, moving on we're at the 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock games, depending on where you live.
And this one actually might be like a 5 or 6 o'clock game. Do you see that?
What?
So if the Mariners, who are they playing? Whatever the MLB playoffs is, whoever the Mariners are playing, if they force a game 5, they said that they're going to move this Cardinals Seahawks game back an hour.
Astros?
Is it the Astros?
No. Astros are home. No, Seattle's at home. They're playing no.
Think of it now. I had it. But anyways,
we're not baseball guys.
no, it is a football podcast, clearly. But yeah, there's a potential, which would be kind of cool because we'd get 2 4
it is the Astros. You're right, Nick.
Is it the Astros?
Yeah.
So we'd potentially get 2 4 o'clock games, and then if this got bumped an hour to an hour and a half, it'd lead directly into Sunday Night Football. So literally like from noon until 10 o'clock at night.
But is it because the game's on Fox, like the baseball game is?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
That makes no sense.
I don't get it, but it could fare well for us watchers.
Yeah. But so Cardinals are minus 2.5 point favorites on the road. Again, another road favorite. 51.5 points is the over under. Nick, what do you got from here?
Who? The Cardinals?
I don't
didn't bet
think
on this game.
Nick doesn't have the. I
Oh,
got
it's
this
Alex.
one.
Sorry,
That's okay.
No,
That's okay.
I have Kyler Murray on my fantasy teams, and like that's enough Cardinals exposure for me for like the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Alex is
Well,
here.
at least until D-Hop comes back. The Seahawks
Yeah.
are the better team here. I don't get this at all. They're at home, which is one of like the few NFL stadiums left where home advantage is a real thing. And until D-Hop comes back, the Seahawks are a much better team than the Cardinals are. I don't care how bad their defense is. They just laid 32 on a good Saints defense, and that's the last compliment I'll give the Saints. But Arizona has done absolutely nothing to impress me this entire year. Yes, the score of the Eagles, the score of the Eagles game was a field goal, but like the Eagles were never not in control of that game. They go up 14-0 early. They start running the ball, start throwing checkdowns, and basically just managing the clock. Arizona still hasn't scored in the first quarter the entire year. So if you want to just take like a Seahawks first quarter, I think they're plus 106 right now. Don't hate that bet. And the stats have always told us back Kingsbury as a dog, fade him as a favorite. So I'm going Seahawks here plus 2.5, and I think I'll probably sprinkle some on the money line too.
Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury is very much on the hot seat right now. Again, I'll go back to it. I don't think Kyler Murray is that caliber quarterback quite yet. And obviously Cliff is not helping him. Yeah, he might have these fancy plays and whatnot. But hey, I mean, just because you have all these toys, I mean, you got to be able to know how to utilize them, and he's just not figured it out yet. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like this could be an over game too, just with how bad the Seahawks defense is. That's what scares me.
Bad.
But
yeah.
And then it's like, how much do you trust Geno? I mean, he's done well against bad teams. He's been okay against better defenses. I mean, what are the Cardinals' defense? Are they good? They bad? They're kind of middle of the road.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Geno Smith is like better than half the league right now.
100%.
I would take him over Baker. I would take him over
for sure.
Yeah,
I'd take him over Justin Fields right now too.
Because you sound insane. Like you're like, I should never be saying this, but like he's actually done pretty good.
He's done pretty well, but like what is this weird week or year 8 in the NFL? So
I think if he was one of those things, he has like nothing to lose, so he's just going out there and just like foot on the gas and just playing his heart out. So
I mean, honestly, this just hurts the Seahawks because if they end up finishing over 500 because he only signed a 1-year contract, like, are you going to pay him? Like, would you pay Geno? No, no, not at all.
If he could put a whole season together, I might give him like 2 more years.
Give him like a Mitchell Trubisky contract, like a 2-year, $15 million.
I don't know. We'll see.
Something.
I think
a lot of incentives.
Just kicking the can down the road.
Yeah.
But all right, so we are moving on to the game of the week, which should be flexed into a Monday night game because I do not want to watch the Broncos play another primetime game this entire year. But unfortunately, the NFL has decided not to flex this game, which again, the decision to make this game not a Sunday or Monday night game just doesn't make sense when it came out. But here we are. We have the Bills traveling to the Chiefs. The Bills are 2.5-point favorites, road favorites. Again, this is like a recurring theme of this podcast. I believe this is the very first time Patrick Mahomes is an underdog at home his entire career. That's like 50 games, which is again ridiculous stat. It's just stupid. And
he's 7-0-1 ATS as a dog out like.
Yeah, there's so many trends in this game that we can pick at. I mean, we will pick at them because it will, go with our picks. But to think that Nick thought Patrick Mahomes was not a good quarterback still blows my mind. But so that being said, Nick, I will let you open this up and
you got to say it every week.
Yeah. They say jealousy is a really ugly trait, and sometimes it just takes a lot of self-reflection to understand what that means. And for me, it was saying Patrick Mahomes was bad after he knocked Baker's hot Browns out of the playoffs. It was really Chad Henne that put us away. But anyhow, I think this was obviously last year was probably one of the best sports games I think I've ever watched.
Ever.
So very excited for this week. I think it'll be a close game. So I threw this one in a teaser just to play it safe because I think either team could win. They're both wagons. So I teased this one up to +9 for the Chiefs, which just feels so comfortable. And then I also threw the Jags Colts in there. You get 8.5 points for the Jags, which we saw them blow out the Colts the first game. I don't think it's going to go the same way. And I think that game will also be close. So, a team that just dominated their previous opponent, you get 8.5 points. So I'm feeling real comfortable with this teaser.
I strictly didn't put the Colts in any of my picks just so, we wouldn't have to talk about them. But since you bring them up, I mean, dude, the Colts are a wagon right now. Do you see how many points put up last week?
I'm
Like I
so
said, I'll
glad.
take 8.5. I think it'll be a closer game than before.
Yeah.
All right, Alex, let's hear it.
Yeah. I mean, we've kind of touched on everything I was going to bring up. Mahomes as a home dog. Feed me that every single time I'm going to get it. It might be one of like the 3 times we get it in his entire 20-year career or whatever. So I will not miss an opportunity to bet that. What a treat we get. It's just this game and the night game are just going to be some good football to watch. But still want to see if the Bills can overcome the Chiefs, man. They're 1-3 in the last 2 years against them, and obviously that playoff defeat was absolutely crushing. Got overtime rules changed because of it. But yeah, Mahomes as a home dog, Chiefs +3. I will take that any day.
Yeah, this little matchup reminds me of the Colts and the Patriots with Manning and Brady. Manning just could never seem to beat Tom. He only beat him a couple of times and beat him once in the AFC Championship game. So I'm definitely thinking we'll be seeing this one for years to come. Obviously, this gives me vibes of the Chiefs Rams game, that Monday night thriller of like 55-52. I'm imagining that in my head, and I'm getting so excited for it. So, with that being said, here we go. I'm not going to lie, week 5 had some bad lines, starting with my 2 terrible rhymes. But week 6 should be much sweeter. I'm so eager for this game of the week. This won't be bleak. Don't you tweak and don't you critique my week 6 pick. Give me the Bills and Chiefs to cover this line. Over 53.5 will do just fine. The the over under has gone over in the last 5 games. Again, we've talked about it. We can talk about it till we're blue in the face. Both these teams score points. The Bills defense is still a little banged up. So with that, I will be liking the Chiefs to win this game, but just to be safe, I like the over 53.5. Give me 62 to 57 game. That's what I want to see. I mean, even the Chiefs can't really stop anyone either on
No.
defense. So, again, I think there's just gonna be Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen throwing for 500 yards each, and this is gonna be insane. I'm so excited. So yeah,
we'll
give me
talk
the
about
over here.
DraftKings, but you have to do a pretty loaded stack of this game, I think, or else you're just out of the money.
Yeah, I think you are correct in saying that. But all right, boys, let's move on to Sunday night. We have the somehow 4-1 Cowboys traveling to the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles in this NFC matchup, divisional matchup. Eagles are 6.5-point favorites, which it's moving around a little bit. The Eagles are a little banged up on the offensive line. Nick,
A lot of it. I
yeah,
think they're
Nick.
missing like 4 starters. Micah Parsons is going to have a day.
All right, so what?
Well,
where are you going?
Yeah, I'm even loving it. I took this at 5.5. I checked today. Cowboys are up to +6.5. So love that even more. I think that's coming off of the news of Cooper Rush is going to start another week. But I think the story of Dallas this year is that defense. So you're telling me that maybe the best edge rushers in the league are going up against a beat up Eagles team. Already a rivalry game, it's going to be close. So to get 6.5 points in that scenario seems like a no-brainer to me.
All right, Alex.
Yeah, this is going to be another exciting one. I think that the Cowboys have a Super Bowl caliber defense. I don't know if the offense, even with Dak, can keep up with them. But if MVP was not a quarterback award, Micah Parsons would be in the conversation, no doubt. He's less than, I think last time I saw it, he was plus 200 to win defensive MVP already. Like that short of odds this early into the season just tells you how much he's dominating week in and week out. And he's been battling a groin injury through all of it. So to see what he's doing out there is just next level stuff. Like Nick said, the Eagles O-line is banged up. We saw what the Cowboys did to the Rams, who have maybe one of the worst, if not the worst O-lines in the league right now. Stafford had no time all day. They put up 10 points on them. And I think we'd all agree the Rams generally have a pretty good offense. So I think this is going to be a game that's fought in the trenches and won in the trenches. These offensive and defensive line matchups, I think, are going to dictate who wins this game. But I also think it's going to dictate the pace of this game, and I think it's going to slow it down quite a bit. So I'm going to ride the under at 42.5 right now, and just expect a defensive kind of juggernaut type battle.
I like that. Interdivision games are usually lower scoring too, so you got that for you.
Yeah, and unders on the year have been huge, as well as, of course, everyone's been talking about primetime unders in particular have been hitting at a pretty high clip. So,
yeah, my 2 cents on the Cowboys is, I mean, barring their first 2 games, they played the Bucs and the Bengals. They really haven't played anyone else. I understand. I mean, they played the Rams, but the Rams are so beat up right now. So I'd like to see them play better against a good offense before I start saying Super Bowl and Cowboys in the same sentence, because you know that does to that fan base. It gets 6 to midnight real quick, and I just don't want to hear it from the Cowboys fans.
Yeah.
Not that I know many, but just in general sense. So I'm intrigued. I've been on the Eagles all year. They screwed me last week. Actually, the kicker for Arizona screwed me, because I think if that game would have gone overtime, I would have been just fine. But
yeah, I do too.
But anyways, so like I said, we get a good game Sunday night, and rolling into Monday night, we have a AFC Divisional West matchup game with the stinky Broncos going against the I don't know what to think of Chargers. The Chargers are minus 5.5 point favorites. The Broncos do have a great secondary. I'm pretty sure they're second in the league in allowing pass yards on defense. But the Broncos, I mean, we find out that Russell Wilson is dealing with a shoulder injury, torn muscle, whatever it might be, that he picked up against the Raiders. I guess they wanted to protect their quarterback, even though he played in the entire game against the Colts and looked like shit. So I don't know what to believe coming out of Denver. Nathaniel Hackett might just be a good offensive coordinator, not a good coach, but both these coaches have made very questionable calls. I mean, for God's sakes, the Chargers almost gave away the game last week against the Browns, going for them 4th and 1.
They really, really tried to give the Browns that game.
Yeah, I mean, like
I almost turned it off. I mean, what? There's just no reason for that. They were on like the 40-yard, their own 40. Like,
yeah,
what are you doing?
These coaches are just not making the right decisions at the right times. They have, a good understanding of the game, but like in these game time scenarios, they're just falling apart. So that being said, I'm actually taking my first teaser of the year, a 6-point teaser. I am taking the Broncos plus 11.5. I think I keep saying this and it's going to bite me, but plus 11.5, a divisional game. That's a lot of points. You have to think that the Broncos are going to figure out on offense. Like they have to, they absolutely have to, or else, Russell Wilson's going to be run out of town. Nathaniel Hackett's going to be gone, and they're going to be looking stupid because they gave away 3 picks, first-round picks for Russell Wilson, and then also paid him like $200 million. So I'm going to add that onto the Rams minus 4.5. Yes, the Rams stink. But they are playing the who are they playing? Why did I just
the Panthers?
Panthers, that's who it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Against the Panthers, who are probably starting PJ Walker. Nothing against PJ Walker. He was Colts practice squad.
Actually?
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
Was Baker hurt?
Yeah,
Baker
was
got hurt, and I
Yeah.
guess Sam Darnold is just MIA.
He was still on IR, I think, or he
Oh,
just
is
can come
he?
off. I think can come off
He
IR now.
retired.
Did they just like proactively put him on IR so they didn't have to play him, even though he
Yeah, I
wasn't
think.
hurt?
Yeah. So I think that's what they
Coach's
did.
decision did not play.
Exactly.
Healthy scratch.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Poor Darnold.
move the Rams down from 10.5 to 4.5, and the Broncos up to 11.5. I think that's a decent little
I
teaser
like
right
that.
there.
I like
Yeah.
that.
I took the Broncos, I think, at +5. I think you said it best, though. I don't know what to think about the Chargers. I I don't know. Like, they didn't impress me. Like, they got a good offense. They put up a lot of points, but I thought their defense would just be so much better, and
They're
they're just
banged up
not.
too, but
Yeah,
they
they're
get the
just like
injury bug
not.
every time, every
Yeah,
year. I feel
very
like
lackluster.
Yeah, I feel like it's the same narrative with the Chargers every year. Going into the season, everyone's so high on them, and rightfully so. I mean, they've got
Yeah,
so
Yeah.
much talent on both sides of the ball, and they just never see. And granted, it's still early, but that division's going to get away from them quick if they don't start putting it together. Um, but yeah, they just don't seem to put it together. They don't seem to use that talent that they have, and I don't know, man.
Yeah, you
yeah.
had generational talent in the quarterback play with why
You
am I
still got
drawing?
him on a rookie contract too. Like,
Yeah,
this is the window. You got to
yeah,
do it.
Herbert. Yeah, Herbert's. I mean, he's gonna get paid. I mean, yeah, you're right. This is the window, and I mean, they've done all the right
They
steps.
did.
They've made their
Yeah,
defense
Yeah.
better. The offensive line is good. They have a running back. They have two great receivers, even an okay tight end in Gerald Everett. So we'll see. Again, the Broncos. I honestly think this is a must win for the Broncos, or else they are.
Yeah.
Man, there's gonna be heads on pikes for sure. But yeah, with that being said, that is going to be the week 6 wrap up here. Hopefully you guys tail us and we do better than last week. I think we are. I'm liking our picks a little better than we were last week. Again, Nick said coming in and kind of jinx us saying I hate every single line. So let's
should have went with my gut. I knew wasn't the week to bet. Take one off.
yeah, if you don't like a line, just take the week off. But
Yeah.
shoot for stars, land on the moon type of attitude we're going into week 6. So thank you guys. Like and subscribe, share with your friends. And we will talk to you tomorrow for our DFS show. See ya.
Peace.